Hello and welcome to the Q&A session about the tutorial labs. My name is Alyssa and I am an officer at Phi Theta Kappa. Joining me are the directors of the Math, Language Arts, Math Prep, Biology, and Physical Science labs. Welcome everyone. Please introduce yourself. We will start with the Biology lab.
Hi, my name is Holly Christopher and I'm the coordinator for the Biology Learning Center.
Hi, I'm Mike Bell. I am the coordinator of the Calculus and Physical Science Tutorial Lab.
Hi, I'm Maria McKee, and I am the coordinator for the Language Arts Lab.
Good afternoon. I am Colleen Kopis, and I am the coordinator for the Math Tutorial Lab.
Good afternoon. My name is Wayne, and I'm the coordinator for Math Prep and Learning Lab.
Thank you guys for being here. If you could just start by giving us an overview of the resources that you guys have available for the students, that would be amazing.
I can get us started and say the main thing that we provide is free tutoring. There is no cost to students. And we provide content support as well as study skills support. Right now we are providing that virtually. So tutoring is really, like I said, the main thing that we provide. We also, various areas have slightly different services. In my area, for example, we also provide some different types of support materials, handouts, sort of practice quizzes and things like that. So that can vary a bit by tutorial center.
Okay, so question, is there a link that students can get to where they can access your tutorial labs and then kind of the information on how you guys are going virtually?
There's a couple ways that students can access the information for the labs. One way is to go to the GRCC website and go to the Academic Support and Tutorial Services page. Each lab has a specific web page under there, and we have step-by-step instructions on each lab page on how to access tutoring. The most direct way for students to access us is to log into Blackboard. At the bottom right-hand corner of their screens, there's a My Organizations list, and they should be enrolled in the tutorial labs. So for Language Arts, they'll see Language Arts Online Tutorial Lab. They can click on that link. And in the menu bar on the left-hand side, there is an option for online tutoring. But I think most of us also have our Zoom links right on the main first announcement on the main page.
Okay, sounds good. So what are your lab hours and how can students kind of look for that and see those lab hours and how they can access you guys?
Our lab hours are listed there with the Blackboard information and on the website. But I can tell them to you now. We're open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Friday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, I'll spit out the Language Arts Lab hours too here. We're open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and we have Sunday evening hours as well from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
And the Mathematics Tutorial Lab is the same as the Calculus and Physical Science Lab. We are open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Fridays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
The Math Prep Lab, we open Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Sunday evening from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
All right, the Biology Learning Center, our virtual hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then on Mondays and Tuesdays, we have some evening hours from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., Fridays 9 to 2, and Sunday nights 6 to 9. I will add too, there's a couple other tutorial centers whose coordinators aren't here, but their hours, we're always very careful to post our hours on our Blackboard sites. And students, if they're taking, for example, a business class, would be enrolled in the business and accounting tutorial lab on Blackboard, and their hours would be listed there, or the ATC Open Computer Lab and so forth.
Okay, so question about the tutoring. If a student wants to be tutored, do they need to make an appointment, or can they just join the Zoom and then be connected to a tutorer by then, or should they make an appointment? Is there a place where they have to do that specifically?
Most labs, you do not need an appointment. It is a drop-in service. You go to your Blackboard, sign in through the link. We would admit you. We do ask that you know your student ID number so that we can record that information. But then once you're in, we pair you with the tutor, no appointment, no cost, stop in. A couple of the labs do differ. So Maria, I don't know if you want to say anything about this.
So no, we're pretty much the same there. All you need to do is click on the link, and as long as it's during our open drop-in hours, a tutor will be able to work with you. We do operate on a first come, first serve basis. So sometimes there may be a few minute wait, but typically we're able to get with students relatively quickly.
So basically what happens is there's differing tutors, and there may be a little bit of variation here, but as you're come into the main room and get signed in, then we pair students off with individual tutors who then go into breakout rooms from the main room of the Zoom meeting.
I'm seeing Leanne's question, or Lene's question, I'm sorry, Lene. I'm seeing Lene's question, maybe from a student. Who does a student contact if they are in a math class but don't have the link in Blackboard? So I will say I've been running into a couple issues where students have not had access to the Blackboard pages. If that is the case, you can call either the main academic support and tutoring services office. That phone number is 234-4145, 616-234-4145. And our office staff can get you the link or direct you directly to the lab coordinator. Depending on the lab that you are looking for help with, you can also reach out. You can reach out directly to the lab coordinator yourself if you feel comfortable. All of our contact information is listed on our web pages, the GRCC web pages. So for example, you could just Google like Biology Learning Center, GRCC, and it should be like one of the first links that pops up.
Yeah.
And
I'll add
that coordinator will be able to add you as a user to the tutorial center, and then it'll pop up in your Blackboard.
I will add for those students that aren't sure how to reach us too, besides the phone, there's also an email, tutoring@grcc.edu. So that can be a really, if a student's feeling a little bit lost, not sure which tutorial center they're supposed to contact and so forth, they can reach out to us directly through that and get directed to the appropriate space or coordinator to get that assistance.
All right, so another question, because of this whole virtual situation, do you guys still have both student and professional tutors, or is it just either or how does that work for you guys?
Sure, I think I'll go ahead and jump in and say, I think it varies based on the center. In some respects, it's been a nice opportunity for us to retain some of the tutors that may have physically moved to a different location. So some of us have been able to retain tutors because of the increased availability of evening hours, as well as just they don't have to physically travel to campus. So some of them have a little bit more opportunity. So it's often a mix of professional and student. And what's nice about that, just so that students know that the difference is the expertise is there for both. A current GRCC student, it's really fresh in their minds. As far as tutoring, they may have even had a same instructor, much less the same class. as the student that's coming in. And then a professional tutor may have had a broader variety, maybe has had more time to have more types of classes. So they might be able to do a little bit more. So I think there's really advantages to having a mix. And also we typically have several tutors on at any given time, so that when a student comes into that main room, that main virtual space, we can identify what class and what their needs are, and then we'll put them in a breakout room with the tutor that would be the best fit for the type of content that they're working on.
I'd like to add that my center currently is strictly professional staff, but if you're a student interested in tutoring, that doesn't mean we're only going to be professional staff. I'm willing to talk to students who are potentially looking for employment in my area.
I'll add on a little bit. The Language Arts Lab is staffed by both student and professional tutors. So, we have folks who have gone through their academic careers in language arts and have been professionally trained in those disciplines. But we also have students who are, also professionally trained and sometimes I think have a really good perspective on working with other students. It's more peer tutoring, I would say. And sometimes having a peer work with you, I think almost bridges that gap between, student and instructor, because we're not teaching, we're tutoring. And so I think having a mix for the Language Arts Lab has been really nice for students. So yeah, students can come in and expect to either work with a student tutor or a peer tutor or a professional tutor.
Okay, thank you for that. I don't have any more questions, but would you guys have anything else that you'd like to share before we end this?
Yeah, I would be happy to share. I would encourage all students to see if there is a tutorial center that is supporting the classes that they're taking. Make sure they have that Blackboard site that they can access, because we do email students directly through our Blackboard link. So I do send emails out directly to biology students as an example. So make sure that they have that access, and try not to wait until you have that pressure of a deadline before coming in. That we very much like to see students that even in the very first day of classes or coming in, and even if they're like, I'm not sure how to start, how to study, come in and, come into that virtual space and see us, because that way you're comfortable with the technology. We'll kind of give you an orientation of screen sharing and video sharing, make sure you feel really comfortable with all of that, so that when you do have that maybe pressure moment of something's due, tomorrow, you've already been in, you know how it works, you're feeling really comfortable with it. And we really enjoy being able to provide those orientations.
I'd like to say that aside from the potential for technical difficulties and some of the things that can go along with technology, aside from that, I feel that tutoring in Zoom, as we're doing it in our area, is remarkably similar to the face-to-face tutoring we were doing beforehand. If a student were to come into a tutoring area, they would sit with a tutor, look at an assignment, write on some paper, do some problem solving together. And the same thing really happens in Zoom. We may be on cameras, but we're close to face, and our tutors have pen tablets, and we write on the screens, share images of the assignments, share screens. Sometimes hold things up to the camera. There's all different ways that things can happen, and we can work around your technology. But it feels remarkably similar. It's still a great process.
And there can be benefits to working virtually, especially if you are in the situation where you have children who are now at home and you have to get them online. When we were doing it mainly in person, you had to have an hour and a half, 2 hours to be able to drive downtown, get to campus. If you have 10 minutes in between getting your child set up on school and what you have to do next, you've got time to jump in and talk to a tutor. And every 10 little minutes helps. So it can be a benefit and cheaper. You're not paying for the parking, you're not paying for lunch. So it can be really handy.
Yeah, I'd like to add, oops, sorry, Wayne.
Oh, sorry. You're not also not paying for a babysitter, right?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, no babysitters. And I just want to add too that there's no like minimum time expectation for you to be working with a tutor or come to the lab. If you just want to hop in for a sec and say, oh, hey, I found it, that's great, you can leave. That's totally fine. If you just want to come in and ask a quick question, maybe, you know, you're writing a paragraph for a summary and response paper, and I just don't know about my verb tenses in this paragraph. Can you help me? In 5 minutes and you're out of here. Alternatively, if you do have a bigger project to work on, we can work in sessions for up to 35 minutes in the language arts lab, but you can come back to the lab as many times as you want during the day. It's not just a one and done type of deal. You can come back as many times as you need to. The only thing that we ask in the language arts lab, and I'm not sure what the protocols are for the other labs, but the only thing that we ask is that in between each session, you use a half hour for independent work, independent study. So after that half hour of independent work, you can come back and have another 35-minute session with a tutor, and then work by yourself for a half hour and then come back again. We're really here for you and want to help you feel successful, no matter, you know, how much time it takes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for spewing out all that information. That's great information for us students to know. And students, if you have any more questions, you can go to GRCC underneath the academic support, and all of their tutoring labs will be there. And hopefully all your questions will be answered and you'll be able to access that. So thank you guys for joining me and educating us as students and helping us know the resources that we have in this virtual world.
Thank you.
Melissa.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Mhm.
I think we did okay, right?
Yeah, virtual high five.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Where do we go from here?